Hand-kun.
Hello, I'm Hand-kun.
I'm Kotaro.
Today, we'll discuss the topic for what purpose were we born?
I don't know if there's any meaning to being born, but it's true that they say this world came together through a miraculous series of coincidences. But is there really that much coincidence that keeps going on?
If it's not by chance, then why were we born? Today's discussion revolves around a Buddhist perspective that is both logical and, in a way, quite moving. I would very much like everyone to hear about it.
The body and the soul. I recently came across a tweet that said, while all lives are equal and everyone is equal, the weight of a life is equal, but its value is not. Even if it's the same 1 gram, its value differs. For instance, a diamond is worth about 14 million yen per gram, whereas iron is valued at 0.06 yen per gram. Perhaps the value of life is something that is enhanced through the journey of living. In this context, life may not be referring to the heart, but rather to the soul. This implies that while the weight of life is indeed equal for everyone, its value is uniquely different for each individual, and this value of life increases over the course of living. We operate with 2 elements, the soul and the heart. The body is something we borrow, and it is the soul that is our true self. And often, I find myself thinking this. The physical body is quite a hindrance. If we were just souls, we could swiftly fly through the sky and reach London in an instant. We think, however, with a physical body, we have to transport this body to London. This requires both time and money. Could it be that the physical body is what makes our movements more cumbersome? Yet, in reality, that's not the case. In fact, the soul, on its own, cannot move. For example, even if we've lived in a familiar house for 10 or 20 years, there comes a time when we are compelled to move. When we possess a physical body, during such times, we might feel regret or resignation, but we are still able to forcibly leave that place. However, a soul without a physical body, if it has lingering attachments to that place, cannot leave even if it wants to. This is because the soul is consciousness, and consciousness cannot move without a physical body. There's a more straightforward example. You often see paranormal shows on TV. In these shows, there are scenes where a spiritual medium communicates with an attached spirit. I don't believe in any of this, but the spirits are saying the following to the medium. We've experienced such thoughts, and such feelings. Those spirits have attachments and lingering emotions in that place, which is why they cannot disappear from there and cannot leave even if they want to. On the other hand, as beings with physical bodies, we can move our entire bodies even if we have attachments and lingering emotions. In that sense, it's not actually a limitation to have a physical body, but having a physical body allows us to seek different environments and move around as we please. The perception of time. And another aspect is the perception of time. We perceive signals like tiredness, hunger, and sleepiness through this physical body. And we can also feel the passage of time when we ask ourselves, what time is it now? Conversely, when we don't feel sleepy at all, don't get tired, and don't feel hungry, we lose our sense of time. Returning to the paranormal TV show we discussed earlier, the spirits that often appear there say, I was killed here. However, upon closer listening, it seems that this happened hundreds of years ago, but they speak as if they were killed just a moment ago. If that were true, it's because souls don't have physical bodies, which means they may not experience the passage of time as we do. In this way, we are currently able to perceive time through our physical bodies and experience various emotions. Ranking of the soul. This conversation is using everyday examples to discuss the concept of unseen dimensions. Metaphors may not explain everything, so it's best to listen with an understanding of the nuances being conveyed. Souls are categorized or segmented in a manner similar to ranks, much like in the physical world. They are finely divided, ranging from higher-ranking souls to lower-ranking ones. The reason for this is that souls root themselves where they resonate. As a result, souls gravitate towards places with similar vibrations, which means higher consciousness souls are in higher places, while lower consciousness souls are in lower places. That's true, and it's similar in the physical world. Society often segregates based on economic strength, determining where people live. Whether it's someone residing in an upscale neighborhood in Los Angeles or in a slum area in Africa, living locations are often determined by one's economic resources. In the realm of souls, the precise location is determined by the quality and level of the soul. As a result, Higher consciousness souls are surrounded by others of similar consciousness. Only souls characterized by overflowing love and genuine empathy reside in their vicinity. For lower consciousness souls, it's the same. They are surrounded by individuals with negative qualities and traits. From the perspective of higher consciousness souls, they may find themselves in a comfortable environment filled with love, but at the same time, there may be a lack of opportunities for learning and self-realization. That's a reflection of the physical world as well. Sometimes we have to interact with people at work out of necessity, but we wouldn't associate with them otherwise. We find comfort in being with like-minded individuals, but there may not be much meaning or soul growth in those relationships. It's when we engage with souls that are different from ours that we have the opportunity to grow and develop our own soul. No matter how much we associate with people who make us comfortable in our private lives, it's essentially a repetition of what we were doing in the soul's world over here. However, having a physical body has created opportunities for higher consciousness souls and lower consciousness souls to meet on the same dimension, here on Earth. Souls of diverse natures that would rarely cross paths in the soul's world. Furthermore, intentionally, higher consciousness souls, when they choose to be born into this world, may opt for situations like being born with disabilities or having parents with challenges. On the other hand, lower consciousness souls may choose environments where they can live without much effort or in wealthy circumstances without any conscious effort. Of course, it's not a blanket statement and can vary in individual cases. In the world of souls, where they might have been surrounded by unpleasant souls, when they encounter completely different and diverse souls here on Earth, it can be inspiring. They might think, there are such unique individuals, or, there are amazing people like this, and be motivated to get closer to those souls. However, in the world of souls, there may not even be such opportunities for such encounters. We can only grow through physical experiences. That's how we undergo multiple cycles of reincarnation. Indeed, stories of reincarnation, including those about boys with memories of their past lives or experiences of unexplained déjà vu, are extremely intriguing. Reincarnation. Without a physical body, one cannot perceive time. Therefore, the soul cannot obtain everything it needs without the passage of time. For example, we can only nurture emotions and love through our physical bodies. In other words, unfortunately, love cannot be nurtured in the world of souls. We eventually reach the end of our lives. At that time, the soul departs from the physical body and goes to the world of souls. As time passes, the memories of the experiences in this world gradually fade, and simultaneously, the values developed during one's life here transform into the values of the soul. That's similar to the feeling you get when you spend time abroad, speaking the local language extensively. Over time, your proficiency in your native language diminishes, and eventually, you might even lose your understanding of its intonation. When the soul goes to the world of souls, it gradually loses the values developed during its time in the physical world and adopts the values of the soul's world. This world is a material realm, so values like, I want money, and I want to become wealthy, take center stage. However, in the world of souls, the primary pursuit is love. In other words, the longer one spends in the world of souls, the more the desire for love there becomes as strong as the desire for wealth and prosperity here in the physical world. However, unfortunately, in the world of souls, that love cannot be nurtured. It can only be nurtured through a physical body. However, souls that have just transitioned may not realize this. They still seek love, but they cannot attain it. This repetition leaves them hungry for love. Eventually, the time comes, and they are given the chance to be born once again with a physical body on Earth. At that point, knowing that merely living a pleasant and enjoyable life won't nurture love, we choose an environment where our future selves will question, why is my life like this? And we are born into this world with a cry. Upon birth, all memories of the world of souls are immediately erased. The reason for this erasure is that having those memories would make the physical life experiences meaningless. If humans knew the exact reasoning behind why something is painful, they would actually not feel pain. Why me? Why do I have to go through this? In the midst of such conflicts, a rich array of emotions can flourish. If we knew everything from the beginning, those emotions would already be factored in, and we wouldn't be able to nurture them. That's why there is a reset with the erasure of memories. Waymarks. However, when the memories are reset, it becomes impossible to grow if one gets completely lost. So, after being born, everyone prepares waymarks to ensure that they don't lose their way. What is a waymark? I'll tell you a story about the first time I went mountain climbing. When I climbed the mountain with my friends, we noticed random white chalk graffiti on the rocks along the trail. At first, I thought someone was just playing a prank, but as we continued up the mountain, we saw more of it. As a novice mountaineer, I climbed upward in silence with my friends. However, I soon realized that my friends were no longer behind me. I gave up on searching for them and focused on climbing ahead. As I ascended the mountain, it became increasingly steep, and at a certain point, I completely lost track of my location. In fear and confusion, I found myself desperately searching for those chalk graffiti marks, and when I suddenly looked around, I was at the summit of the mountain. That's when I realized that those markings had guided me all along. I believe this story also applies to our lives. When we live with the goal of reaching the summit, we may perceive events as mere coincidences along our journey. However, as these events accumulate, we begin to sense that there is meaning behind them. And this realization can lead us to the feeling that we are being protected and guided, with these events saying, "Go this way." However, those who are not aiming for the summit, metaphorically speaking, might be playing by the river at the base of the mountain. So even if they encounter such events by chance, it may just remain a mere coincidence for them. Many people go through life without realizing that the waymarks they prepared for themselves before they were born were meant to guide them and prevent them from losing their way after birth. To notice these waymarks, one needs to aim for the summit, metaphorically speaking. At the summit, there is a reason for being born. Happiness, when deeply considered, is about loving oneself. It is said that when one can ultimately achieve this self-love, they can stand at the summit. However, to love oneself, one must go through both difficult and sad experiences, as well as encounter the unfamiliar. In the end, true love can only be nurtured when one is genuinely happy with themselves, and all these elements that contribute to happiness, including joy, anger, sorrow, and pleasure, can be attained during the effort to reach the summit, for the most part.
This is what it all meant for why humans are born. It's a story rooted in Buddhism and contains quite significant elements. So I hope you'll watch it again if you have the opportunity.
I understand. As someone without a religious background, it might be a bit challenging to grasp.
Certainly, there are people who have reservations about religion. However, among religions worldwide, only Buddhism, which doesn't rely on external forces, but emphasizes overcoming challenges through one's own efforts, feels not only applicable but quite relevant even in today's business world. Therefore, considering this story can be beneficial for everyone, I personally resonated with many aspects of this story as well and found them to be profoundly truthful.
Is it about living life with a goal of reaching the summit? Is it saying that avoiding difficult and sad things along the way would be meaningless?
It's about understanding that everything that happens to us has a purpose. It's crucial to be able to realize this and to make that realization a part of one's own experience in order to move forward.
It means going through various experiences to elevate the value of your soul.
That's right. Let's take this as a valuable lesson and move forward. This channel is dedicated to sharing mystery-related information like this. Please subscribe and give it a thumb up.
We are looking forward to your comments as well. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.